Okay, so what do you want to talk about? I'm here with Anonymous. My name is David. You can call me David. I'm here with Anonymous, so we're going to talk a little bit about life and different things that go on. So please welcome the very beautiful. What name do you want to go by?
Cleo.
The very beautiful, very talented Cleo. She's here with me, and we're going to talk about different things that go on in life and things like that. What do you think? I wonder if it still records, if it shuts off. Yeah, it's still going. Okay. What do you think about your life up to this point? And first, I'm sorry, we got a little ahead of myself. What do you think about yourself and where you're at, where you're going, how you got here? And tell us about yourself.
I'm tired. I don't know where I'm going. Don't really know where I'm at. I know I'm tired.
Yeah, I know that feeling of tired, and people outside of the experience of medical diagnosed depression and stuff don't understand when you say I'm tired. They don't get it, but the tiredness I really do understand. So what stands out for you? Me and you have spoken obviously on in the past, over the past couple of days about things. That's when we decided to do this recording out of the blue, just to kind of mess around. But what do you want to talk about? What do you think about life experiences that you remember that were really instrumental in teaching you a lesson, maybe either positively or negatively?
Don't spiral. You know, living this way, having this affliction, it kind of makes that lifestyle.
Okay.
But to be able to catch it is like a learned practice, to be able to recognize, like, if you are actually, because I mean, in this life, with living this lifestyle, you could argue it is a constant spiral. However, as we've been talking about in the last few days, harm reduction.
And if I could just step in for 1 minute, and when Chloe says when she speaks about what are you talking about? It's an addiction. It's an addiction. Basically, we're both addicts, poly addicts, probably having multiple addictions that have ran our life.
Addictaholics.
That have ran our lives into the ground, and that's where we're at now. We're kind of up and down. We've been in and out of treatment programs. We can probably run the places better than the people that run them. Anything like that, all up and down the California residential rehab coast there. So what have you found? What is one of the biggest things that was an obstacle for you even getting into recovery?
Well, my first rehab experience was not so good. I went into a facility, which where there was medical negligence that happened. It was my first. I was going into the detox. I was drinking.
I was just about to say their name, and then you said that, so I'm like, okay.
I'm sidestepping it for now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We'll let it out if it needs to be.
It's under the umbrella of Acadia Health.
It's under the umbrella of Acadia Health, and a lot of people are aware of Acadia. So anyway, we'll get to that. We're working over there. So it was my first experience in a detox facility, and there was medical negligence on another patient the second day that I was there. And another patient and I ended up taking care of that patient who had been medically neglected, and who we stayed up all night repositioning his body. He was checked in after admissions was closed. He had sleep apnea, he had asthma, and he was on uppers and downers, like all the way arounders, as they say, and he was just given a fistful of Valium when he got there and was not evaluated correctly. The only two on staff, it was not their fault. The only two who were staff that night were unskilled nurses, and they just so happened to also bring in 5 more folks who were detoxing really bad, but they were also elderly. And so there was like 12 of us all together, split between different houses, and this kid got neglected. My friend, I was detoxing pretty badly. My friend was okay. He did it before. But I was fine because I've done it several times before. But this kid was, he had a severe B12 deficiency too, and he couldn't walk very well. He was paralyzed from a B12 deficiency, so he was at the level of he needed skilled nurses. He needed treatment. Yeah, he needed to be watched, and that was my first experience in detox. And I continued to go to the residential facility affiliated with this detox center, the negligence just continued. There were people who were being prescribed medications that interacted with other ones. We were not being asked for very much medical history prior to being there, and so we were being prescribed medications that didn't totally work for us. Some people were being over medicated, some people were being under medicated, and there's this company Acadia who bought this facility. And I have a friend whose grandfather worked at this facility in the 80s, and it was very different. And after being to several facilities since then, at one of them, which I will not name right now, most of the people who work at that new facility that I went to most recently, at this first one that I'm referencing, they came from there, and they left. They left there because of a lot of things that happened, and there was other stuff that I don't even know if I should say on recording that I heard happen there. But moving on, Acadia bought all of these rehab centers, and they're all going downhill.
I think for the most part, a lot of them have become health insurance mills, where they just take people in, very little background, very little history. They
push as many people in as they can. They cut as many costs.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and I experienced that through my course of it. And I know you didn't like Azure. We were at Azure Acres together, which I don't really care. I don't think they can do much, but that was a place, and I was going to go back there.
That's the place. That's the first place I'm talking about. That's where all this happened.
Azure Acres.
That's where I met.
Oh my God, Azure Acres.
And we had a damn good community there of residents who spoke up.
Okay, so at that time, picture like a hunting cabin in the redwoods, very big hunting cabin, and they've since renovated it.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. They painted it white.
They painted it white all over all the old growth, and they threw away like all of the sentimental art pieces that were put there from prior practitioners.
I like the rustic feel of it to a degree when I first went there.
But it was dirty.
After going through a number of rehabs, I realized the quality of what you were getting there. While it was good intention, the groups were just rare, resulted in mediocrity a lot of the times. And facilitators either not showing up late, or showing up maybe unprepared. Speakers that they would have that would come from what is it called? HNI, hospitals and institutions.
Because it's free.
We would come there to recruit to one of the 12-step programs like the NA.
And every single class that you would take, every single handout, there would be grammatical errors on.
Yeah,
that's the first thing I noticed when I first walked into the classes. I pick up the sheet, like trying to get into it, and I just start reading, like not just the heading.
Amateur hour with the
just
literature,
constant.
definitely.
And like it's not that's the most important thing, and we get that. And also, I think it's important to know or important to state that like the people working there, the people on the ground floor, and
oh my God, the staff they
are working their ass off, and they're doing the best, and they're also addicts, and they're
addicts,
addicts.
and
like 99.9% of the time. And so, like, the grammatical, but that's just on top of everything, you know?
Yeah.
The place was filthy.
Filthy. It was also
Fucking filthy. Our crew came in and cleaned the
it.
entire
We
place.
cleaned
We
it.
had a resident
Staff
there.
cleaned it.
We had a resident there. So this place also was not being stocked with food. You know, people were paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we had a resident there who, of her own volition, she ordered like $400 worth of snacks just to stock the kitchen so that people would have food to eat in between meals, because people get hungry in between meals, and at meals they often ran out too and would have to like, and they would and you know on you know to their shit, like they would call in pizza or something. However, that's not appropriate, you know. But as we're saying, I really don't think that it's the people on the ground floor who are at fault. It was this corporation came and took over and has been just like bastardizing these facilities, which I've heard have been really good in the past.
Yeah, well, Acadia comes in and they strip them of their autonomy, economic autonomy, and they get very limited. They get very streamlined. They try to do everything one way, and it doesn't always work, and it probably doesn't look good for them. But I can't complete a Azure Acres section without bringing up the situation where a staff member flipped over a golf cart between the two buildings. So I have to
right before I got there.
I have to set this up for you now. Most rehabs, if you haven't been there, they'll have two locations. They'll have a detox house, which is usually the nicer one, where you'll detox for 3 to 7 days or whatever. Then after that, you'll go into residential, which is usually another whole location. Sometimes it's close by. Anyway, in our case, you had to go through the woods, and they had a paved road
down a hill
that the golf cart would take, and they transport people, lunch, food, all that stuff from one location to the other. But they had one nurse that was driving us one day, and we could see that she was going. She was driving fast around the corners, and she got us there, but we white knuckled it. And then, sure enough, I think the next night or something, she flipped it and went in a ditch on there. So that was pretty funny, and we kind of were predicting that. And the golf cart was all banged up. And
should I just spill some more about Azure that I learned?
Yeah, go for it.
So I went to residential at a different place that I was mentioning. A lot of people from Azure transferred to. I heard some stories from the staff.
That's not Bayside, is it?
What do you mean? No, it's not Bayside.
So it's camp recovery?
No, this is different.
I'm guessing
no,
it's
not
funny
Bayside,
because...
it's not a camp. I'm not going to mention the name right now. But so a lot of the staff transferred, who were Azure, have transferred over there. And that's like pretty much the staff that creates that place is built from the Azure staff who left.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they have high turnover, I bet.
And that's the second to best place that I've been in, like the 5 that I've been to.
I've been to 5 too. We all rehab marathoners and hoppers, and I decided one year that I just needed help, and I could go through the rehabs and get as much as I could out of the program.
So they had an employee there. They had an employee at Azure who was an alumni who became a staff member. Sorry.
What was his name?
I can't remember right now, but he relapsed, and he ended up relapsing. He was still a staff member there. He let his community know, and they just fired him, and they didn't offer him any support. He died.
It's a business.
He died soon after. So he is like a close friend of a lot of people at Azure. I also heard that there was a murder that happened at Azure. Some guy hit some other guy over the head with a fire extinguisher.
Oh my God! Really? I could see that happening because there was very little staff around. You could tell something.
There were no cameras either.
There was nothing there,
as there usually is.
No.
Yeah. So I also heard that happened. I don't know if that happened for sure, but I heard that happened, and they covered it up. Yeah. So that was the first rehab experience. So if you're asking me about my experience,
okay,
that's how it started.
Okay, so we have some questions from other people who are really me who came up with them. So we're going to be talking about the the Azure recovery center and stuff, and some fun things. We have questions. One thing says, speaking on interpersonal relationships, are they frowned upon in these places, or are they done in the down low, or how are they generally handled by
for like a person going there,
yeah.
like from like our point of view?
Yeah. We're talking about romantic, usually it's those
it
types
is definitely
of
frowned upon, and it is it's definitely frowned upon, but every place that you go to is different. And for example, most of the places I've been to have cameras everywhere. Azure didn't.
Azure did not.
Azure did not. And wherever you go to, there will, you have like there's a different culture with every place that you go to. And the staff plays a big part in it. But the camera situation's a thing. It is definitely frowned upon. It is a part of the rules not to. It's healthier not to, because like we're hurt people, and we are trying to stop doing that by being in this place, trying to stop hurting ourselves and others. However, when you get into a facility that is co-ed, and keep in mind, the majority of these facilities are filled with men. And so if you are a woman, especially a young woman, you get a lot of attention. So it makes it trickier to navigate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're a bunch of fucking junkies, alcoholics, criminals, and thieves, and artists.
Everybody's broken.
And lovers and creators and takers. And so we bond, we bond deeply because this is a very vulnerable situation, and it's very intimate, and you're sharing it with, even though 30 people sounds like a lot, it's not when it comes down to it. And so you do develop bonds. You do develop. It's not just sex. It's not just lust. It's a lot of it's very vulnerable, and you do make connections with people. But as far as so there's all that. You got to navigate it correctly. You got to pick your poison. Make sure you have good insurance if you do want to fuck around, because you're gonna get your ass kicked out if you got not so good insurance. You're also going to meet people who will match your pain, and so you have to be aware of that too. Tread lightly when it comes to relationships in rehab.
And that's
take our fucking word for it.
Take our word for it. And I can tell you from my own experiences. I'm in 5 rehabs. I had 5 intimate relationships, because I can just. I did get thrown out at one point. I did get the first time I got what they called a AFG, an AFG, opportunity for growth. And it's like a write-up, but it's written very well. It's not too bad.
And this is an interesting perspective that they're getting, because it's coming from an older man who's gone to rehab and a younger woman.
Did you just say I'm older?
They can tell that. Yeah, you are.
Who was the woman? Who was the woman? They could say that, right?
And a woman.
It's you!
A younger woman.
Fuck. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, I thought it was talking something like that. That was good. Okay. So yes.
See what I'm talking about? Tread lightly, folks.
Tread lightly. Okay. That's what the podcast is about now. I just realized it.
So you're getting an interesting perspective, because you're getting like it from two pretty let's say like statistical points of view that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yes.
And so.
But we're broken, and
I just want to say that. So you go on.
So
your relationship experience.
My relationship experience over that was just general hookups at places that you become familiar with the person next to you, that you sit next to in the group every day, and you talk and you smoke and it happens like that. And if you're in a rehab where you can get away somewhere. You know, some of the rehabs are like big, like college campuses. As you know, some
of them are like 3-bedroom
in.
houses.
Yeah, exactly. And they all have different levels of security and different levels of cameras and things like that. So you're able to do that, definitely, but it is a high risk. I did pay the ultimate price. I will tell you that that being in that situation and having sex and having the risk of getting thrown out of the place created a eroticism and attentiveness of the situation that was like kind of cool, you know, and that worked. I didn't not like it, but like anybody else, it's just it's easy. It's easy there because there's not a lot to do. There's a lot of boredom. After like a week or two, you're kind of bored, and your guard comes down.
And I think we should give some context to your situation also.
Context as in what?
Tell your story.
My story.
At least briefly. To give context.
A story from when I first went to rehab?
I mean,
overdose.
Some context.
Overdose, go to rehab.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can edit all this later?
San Francisco, we're just going good like this. We're going to keep going so I don't have to edit too much because it's a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. So the context of me is I was a 20-year-long addict that obviously spiraled on the 4th of July. I did a lot of drugs and overdose and the whole story.
What year?
In 2024. Well, I overdosed there and I ended up in a psychiatric hospital here in Hawaii. And then I had good insurance, so they sent me to... they evac me. They sent me on a plane to Oakland, and they picked me up and they took me to a place called Bayside Marin in Marin County, which was very nice. And I went through the 30-day program there. And that was my first hint into rehab in California, and I went through other facilities after that. Me and Cleo met at the next facility, which was the sister's facility, which was Azure Acres, and it was just such a great place there. It was a good time. It was a weird place, but it was okay. And then I ended up there, and I went to several others. Afterwards, I decided I would try luxury rehabs, which were completely different because they were in big houses with 6 people in the house. Maybe everybody was real cool because everybody had money, you know, and you would just sit there, and they'd give you an iPad, and you order your meal. Breakfast, lunch, and they had a chef that would cook up stuff for lunch and dinner. And we go out to Universal Studios, or we go to the beach, or we go to Santa Monica, or we go to Cheesecake Factory, places like that. Then after that, I went to psychiatric residential high-end rehab in Calabasas. What?
Why?
Well, I went there for...
Why did you make the change from regular
gotcha.
to
this is interesting.
And what is the name of... It's called co-occurring, no?
Co-occurring, yeah. What that's when a facility will treat both sides of it. It's a dual thing. But what happened...
Dual meaning what? Dual diagnosis meaning addiction and mental health, right?
Yes, it does. Okay. Yes, that's clear. After that, but what happened to me in my case, I was done with my residential, and I was not dirty. So when I attempted to go into the next facility,
that's another thing
I was clean.
People don't know about. Yeah.
I was clean, and they would not take me because
that's another fucked up part of the system, isn't it? I think
yes,
that we should touch on that.
That's what I'm saying now. Is that I had to do that, but then I found another facility.
But you didn't fully go through.
I know.
With it. Okay, so I will. So, if you show up in need and clean to a rehab, say you feel like you're about to relapse and you're like, I need some fucking help.
I said that at the rehab, and they still
those words exactly.
I said I just didn't want to relapse. You know?
So it has to do with insurance. And so you kind of have to relapse in order to get care again. And so that's kind of like a shitty part of it. It's also something that somebody should know if they are in the rehab twilight zone. And if you've been in and out, like, you know, for insurance purposes, not to your own detriment, but it's just something that most people don't talk about. But it is necessary sometimes. You have to come up dirty in order to get back in.
Yeah, they said.
And so it's a double-edged sword, but
They said they have to send a picture of the urine analysis bottle, like send it right to
Seriously?
them and stuff. Yeah, to do
You
that and
fucking kidding
everything. So there, but then after that, you discover that you can go to psychological residential, which were really nice.
And if you have a high tolerance too, while you're going to detox, like don't do it to your own detriment, but fib a little.
Yeah.
Because they will under medicate you at some places.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should have said that.
No,
on this,
that's true.
But it's
They
true.
do that. They
but
will
it's
under
true.
medicate you, so you
Like,
want to make it seem like
maybe we
you're
should
the
talk about
worst.
the things that
off
people don't talk about. You know.
the stuff that people don't talk about. Do you
Which
know
is
what?
this.
Yeah. Mhm.
This is
Yeah, they'll
that's one
under
of them.
medicate you.
They will
yeah.
under medicate you if you
Okay.
like. For a lot of us addicts, we have a high tolerance to drugs and or alcohol, and so when we get seen and we, you know, say it's anxiety, depression, say it's the withdrawals, like whatever, we don't, or I'll speak from my experience. I've not been believed at my drug tolerance, and I've learned how to communicate better with physicians, and to tell them like, hey, I'm here. I do not want to be looked at as drug seeking. If I were drug seeking, I wouldn't be here. But I need to be heard, you know, something along those lines. You have to advocate for yourself. In these places, you really have to advocate for yourself. And if you don't have experience with that, ask around. Chances are there are people who are in the facility who've been through the system for a while and could give you some more direction or seek out more things like this. You have to advocate for yourself, and you have to be doggedly persistent in that.
Doggedly persistent. That's very true. What you say there, we have to keep pushing towards it, and you have to also do your homework. You have to look at the ratings on the facilities, know kind of what they're like. Look at real reviews,
and avoid any Acadia owned.
No, you're right. You're right. Avoid it.
Avoid it.
Avoid it.
Any Acadia owned. Look for a privately owned facility. Do not go to an Acadia owned facility. In the second to last residentials I was at, there was a man who his wife worked for a property management company. Acadia bought them too and ran it into the ground.
That's what it does.
So they're not just doing rehabs. They're doing like they're spread. You know, like I haven't looked into it that much, but even a property, like, you know, they're even doing that. And so they now own Duffy's, Bayside, Azure Acres, I think Serenity Knolls.
Did you go to Duffy's?
Never.
I
that's
heard
where
a
I
lot
was
of people
supposed to
went
go,
there.
and
Yeah.
that's where I was supposed to go. But then I needed to get into a detox quick, and so they put me at Azure. But I was supposed to go to Duffy's. But I've been in and out facilities for the last 8 months, and I've met people who have been there, and I've met people who have been there in years prior, before Acadia owned it, and then also more recently. And I've heard both. It used to be like a really nice place. So the most recent feedback I got, they're just stuffing people in there. They have like these huge groups. It's like an assembly line type of thing. Mm-hmm. And this is the Sonoma one that I'm talking about, because there are multiple locations.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Sonoma one specifically. That's where I was supposed to go originally. I'm so glad I went to Azure. Azure was a shit show, and I hope that they've apparently been making a lot of staff changes. So who knows what's going on now? What I'm telling to the voice thing is information as of 6 months ago that I got, and we had our experience July of 2024. August, September 2024.
Yeah, August, September.
July,
August,
September.
And
so things could be changing, but it was not so cool. I can't remember the place I went to in Marin that was good. So Avery Lane in Marin, which is an all-women's facility. I have nothing bad to say about that place, and I recommend it to all the women. It's privately owned. It's the best program I've ever been through. I had my own issues, but that's me. I would, if I had like a sister or family member who needed the help, that's where I would recommend she goes. As that's the best place I've been to. They have classes on complex PTSD. They do CBT, they do DBT, they do one-on-one therapy twice a week. I would say the only thing about that place that I would is they don't give enough exercise. They have there's like a pickleball court down below because it's like a mansion, and it's just empty, and they could throw in a couple treadmills or just some weights or something.
Well, again,
They won't even take you on walks.
It's probably just funding. Yeah,
It's not. It's not. That's the thing.
So?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. That's the thing. It's really not. They make money.
Most places I had went,
All you
I was
gotta
at
do-
had a gym, money.
Exactly, they do, and me too. The place I've been in a place where they used to take us out to the gym 5 days a week. They would take us to
Me too.
CrossFit once a week, and then they would take us to Qigong once a week.
Oh, Qigong. I remember Qigong. I've been to Qigong.
And this place has not been around as long as Avery Lane, so I just think that Avery Lane, it must be like an insurance thing or like a liability thing, people falling or something. They have a whole pickleball court down beneath. They won't even, it was pulling teeth trying to get them to take us on walks instead of pulling tarot cards in the morning. I had heart to heart with one of the nurses. She told me she's been working there for a few years, and she's been trying to get them to do that too. And it would make such a difference, and it did. It's six of us women in one house, and we're in a house all day. It's a big house, but it's a house. And to go on a walk instead of drawing tarot cards every morning when everybody has different beliefs and nobody to go and get like some circulation. We have older clients, like there are older clients there too. Half of the women who were there were over 60. And I have circulation issues myself, and so to get the blood moving, before, and then keep in mind, we will have a therapy session, like first thing in the morning, like an intense, like addiction thing. And so to go and get a little bit of circulation running through your body, to get some fresh air, like it's so valuable. And the nurse who was there, who I spoke to, she said that she was pushing for it and had been for a while. So that's my only qualm with Avery Lane. They do a damn good job, and they have Michelin star chefs, and I would say it's the exercise thing, and then they do not provide toiletries, which I think is bullshit.
Which was bizarre, which I thought was weird when I went there.
It's fucking weird.
But
Well, you didn't go to Avery Lane because this is a woman's place.
I'm talking about in general.
But to other places, yeah.
Yes.
They don't provide toiletries. That's another thing about the rehab. Like you can't provide, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, a razor, a toothbrush, and some toothpaste. Some Q-tips, please. But most of these places, even though like they take top dollar, don't provide these things. They cut costs wherever they can. And the toiletries thing is an issue for me too. I think it's bullshit, because they also won't let us use our phones or reach out to other people, or we got to jump through all these hoops to actually use our own money.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. It's very secluded.
And so at a lot of these places, for them to, the toiletries thing is a thing too. But yeah, I would say Avery Lane, over all the places I've been through, for the women, because it's an all-women's facility, take your people there. They're doing it the best I've seen, and I have a healthy fear of women, and I was very nervous to go to an all-women's facility, and it was my last choice in facilities. not my last choice, but I was very scared to go to an old women's facility, but I decided to, and I wanted it to be a chance to also maybe deal with some issues with women, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. It actually worked out that way, and I felt very safe there. So for all those women who feel unsafe, don't matter if you're a fucking lesbian or whatever, you know, Avery Lane is a good facility. It's the best one I've been to. It's the only one I would recommend.
Okay. Shout out to Avery Lane, and I think we're gonna wrap it up now on the psychotic episode of whatever it's called about recovery.
No, what is
What
it?
do you wanna say?
What is it?
Addiction.
No, for the dolphins.
The dolphins. Yeah, there was a problem. We actually have
It's for the dolphins. So this podcast is sponsored by protection. What is it?
The dolphin witness protection program.
This podcast is sponsored by the Dolphin Witness Protection Program and the Antarctic Wildlife Fund. Shout out to you.
No, it's the Antarctic Wildfire Prevention Fund. Yeah, and it's the Flipper Dolphin Witness Protection Program because he snitched and the mob's gonna go kill this mob.
Everyone's after him, so we got.
That's all we could do is save that.
So just throw some at it, and Flipper will be okay. And if he's not, then we'll have some good sushi.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as we always say in this business.